Well, first, how are you feeling?
Feel good. Yeah.
How's early back? Or
Yeah, it's nice to be back.
What was the highlight of your first week with your son?
Just how cute and little he is. And you could just stare and look at him all day.
What was it like watching the game without being able to?
It was not
coach
great. It was uncomfortable, but you get to see it from a different perspective. I was proud of our team, but it was not my favorite thing I've ever done as a coach, just have to sit home and watch it on TV.
Did you take different notes? I mean, I know you watch film, but just the TV angles and everything, body language in game, is there different things you would take to try to turn it into, I don't want to say a positive, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it does give you a little bit of a different view, but not really, because you always kind of go back and watch the broadcast anyway. So you'll watch it clipped up and then you'll watch it kind of in live stream. So it just was more of a helpless feeling than anything else.
Were you trying to, text Jenna throughout the game? Were you trying to give her space?
Oh, no. I was letting her do her thing. I was just far away. I'm going to let them have it.
Speaking of Jenna, I mean, she did so well.
She did.
8 years ago, she was in college playing for Dayton, and she's going toe-to-toe with Vic Schaefer at Texas. Just a little more about how well she did in that role.
Yeah, she did great. She stepped up, and we had tried to talk about it for months and months. We knew that trip was going to be hard. I was either going to be very pregnant and very close to having a baby or have a baby. And so she did a great job of taking control. And she had the 2 days of practice before that, and then she had the team there. And the team looks up to her and respects her. And I think the team responded really well too, of just making sure that they didn't really have a drop off.
So you will be coaching and the plans are for you to coach on the sideline tomorrow, Monday against South Carolina?
That's the plan.
Okay.
Just to be clear, how many days would that be after you gave birth to be back on the sidelines?
I was back in practice on Friday, and we had our son on Monday.
Awesome.
how was it to be back on Friday?
It was good.
Yeah.
It was good. It's hard to leave your little one, but then you missed your team, and you kind of feel like you were just not there for them. And so to be back and to be around them and to just be back in your routine was good.
Are they chomping at the bit to see Connor?
They are. They're gonna have to wait. We have a lot of germs.
The name Connor Stephen, just how did you come to that name, especially the unusual spelling of Connor?
Oh, well, the unusual spelling was my husband's choice. I lost the name drawing twice. So he picked the spelling of that name. I think I wanted C-O-N-N-E-R. And then Scott, after my dad, was something. But that's just a name we've always kind of had picked out for a little boy.
What did it mean to you to be able to, give your son your father's name, even as, a middle name?
It was huge. And if we have a little girl, we'll name her Scotty. So we had that picked out too. And just to be able to pass a little bit of his grandpa onto him is big.
What was your dad's reaction to learning his name?
My dad passed away.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Then your mom, how did she?
She loved it.
Yeah.
Yes, she loved it. And my sister's son also has his middle name too.
Oh, okay.
So we say anyone in the family that has Scott as a middle name is a little bit ornery, just like my dad was.
Does your sister have any advice for you, having gone through this already and knowing you so well?
She's going to come help soon. So my mom is here, my husband is doing a great job, and so my sister is going to come, I think, next week to help.
I know a lot of coaches have talked about balancing. You've only had a couple days of balancing, but how has it been going so far?
So far, so good. It always helps when you have a staff that you can trust, you have a team that you can trust, and you have support at home. My husband, again, is doing a great job. My mom is here, bless her heart, and it would be a completely different story if that wasn't the case.
If you want to reveal it, what were the weight, length? We're always wondering if athletes are
Yeah.
going to be born
Thankfully, he was little, which I was fine. He can grow on the outside. So he was 6'10", which was my dad's height. So that was pretty special to us.
And speaking of encouragement, I know Coach Barnes at the presser on Friday was giving some words of encouragement he was giving to you, but he also said, who would have a baby in January knowing that he had his daughter? What has he said to you, maybe any words of encouragement along the way?
Yeah, that was the first thing he told me. When we announced, I went over to their office, and he kind of told me a little bit of his story and made me feel a little bit better, and so that was big.
Switching to South Carolina, defensively, that it's one of the best South Carolina teams I've seen in a while on defense. Just what are the challenges for your team Monday? Yeah,
we have to take good shots. We got to try to go in transition, but we have to take good shots, work the ball around a little bit better, try to make them guard for longer, but they're very good on both sides of the ball.
They have one of the best benches in the country. How do you prepare for that, especially after considering they're starting 5?
Yeah, I mean, they're incredibly deep. And so we talked about it yesterday that all of every single person that's on the floor. We go deep too, but we need everyone to show up and everyone to be able to guard.
Mulkey said yesterday that she wasn't sure that she's ever played against a team that had 10 McDonald's All-Americans. Have you ever experienced that, and what does that even look like when
No.
you're trying to prep for a team like that?
I don't even know 10 McDonald's All-Americans. And so, of course. And so when you're prepping, it's just a different level. And they're all so talented. And so just making sure that everyone is prepared and you can't fall asleep on defense. And even if you are locked in, they're probably still going to hit tough shots. And you just got to be ready to weather that storm.
You said you're back in practice Friday. What did you see from the team after another, tough loss that was close? And just how do you feel like they're handling it? This is obviously a really tough stretch in conference play.
It is tough.
Kind of take these losses and keep moving. Just how do you feel like they're handling it?
Yeah, I think they're handling it okay. I think that we just have to see it translate. And so we can't continue to have the same conversations about rebounds, and we can't continue to have the same conversations about fouls. And so we have to start to make adjustments.
How have you worked on the press after sort of struggling a little bit against Texas and then going into this matchup with a veteran South Carolina team?
We're just continuing to work on pressure and getting turns. I think our press looked great for the first minute against Texas. I think we forced 3 turnovers in maybe the first minute and a half, and then we only got 1 more steal for the remainder of the game. So just back to consistency of let's just continue to do this for longer. South Carolina is going to be really hard to see any improvement on because playing in transition only fuels them. It just makes them better.
It's that time of year. I mean, players are sick across the country. Just health-wise, how is your team doing right now?
Yeah, we're sick. I had the flu the day that I gave birth. We have some of them that are sick, and so we are just trying to patch some holes and get some fluids in us, and hopefully everyone will be ready to go tomorrow.
It feels like the team has been able to make a little progress in transition offensively. Against Texas, 17 points I think on breakaways. Just what do you think has helped that, and do you feel like they're making progress in that area?
I do. I think they're kind of seeing a little bit of success, especially our rim runners. I don't remember if it was before or after, and it must have been before the Vanderbilt game. We showed some clips of this is what you look like, this is what it's supposed to look like in transition, as far as just running and pushing. And so I think we've had some people, especially our bigs, have kind of taken that to heart. Again, I think that they could do it more, just being more consistent with it.
When you were showing those clips of what it's supposed to look like, was that from this team or
No,
was that from past
those
teams?
past teams. When we taught it, we showed past teams, and we just pulled the same film.
I can't speak from experience, but giving birth has to be a surreal experience. What was it? Have you gotten your arms around being the fact that I'm a mama now?
No, I haven't. You hold your son and it kind of hits you, but it's just kind of interesting. It's a double life right now. You're here, you're coach, you're home, you're mom, and I think it'll be that way for a while.
What stands out to you most about Wiley?
She's just incredible. She can score in any type of way. She can turn it on. She's great in transition. So just making sure that we try to limit her. But when she's in the game, they're special. I mean, they're special at all times, but she really is a tough matchup for us, seeing who can guard her.
You mentioned that things translate from practice to the game. Do you subscribe to the theory that you have to learn how to win, and particularly close games? I know it doesn't come down to one play at the end all the time, but do you think this team is learning how to win and getting closer to being able to close out the way you want to in the Final Four?
I do believe in that theory. I think you have to learn a lot of things. I think you got to learn how to lose. You got to learn how to win. You got to learn how to win big. You have to learn all of those things.
You're so close too, which I know is sort of maddening to be that close. And you can point out physical things that need to be done, but is there a mental component to reach to?
Absolutely. I think we don't learn very well. We don't learn. We will make the same foul every game. We'll foul late shot clock. We will foul jump shooters. We'll foul when we don't need to. And again, we're so close, and it is maddening. And you will drive yourself crazy as a coach of, hey, let's just fix the fouls. Forget the rebounds. Forget the offense. Forget the defense. Forget anything else. Forget the foul shots. Just fix how much we foul. Fix that one thing. Let's learn from it, and then maybe our record is different. And then you can go down that rabbit hole with every single thing, and then you put them all together.
To mental toughness. I mean, that takes time, experience.
It does, and you have to be open to just learning from your mistakes, and you can't continue to go on the floor and not adjust the officials, and not to see somebody get a moving screen and then you go on the floor and get a moving screen, to see somebody get a clamping call and then you go in and get a clamping call. You have to be able to learn from those things.
Why do you think this team has struggled with that, with learning and applying it moving forward?
I mean, I would imagine we as coaches need to do a better job, and we just talked about that as teaching, of instead of instructing and instead of telling, of explaining the why and teaching and showing. And I do think we are getting better, but just breaking things down a little bit more and teaching them before we go into it and explaining the why.